You are listening to The Michael Lodge Show. Wealth, business, and taxes. Oh, yeah, and some politics. Let's get started.
It's a Friday. I'm always happy when it's Friday. It used to be that I would take Fridays off, but I found out that there's a lot of people that still need to talk to me on Friday, so I kind of stopped that. But I tell you, I'm looking outside. It's about 50-some degrees here. It's been down in the 40s almost all week. But today, the sun is coming up right now. I can see it coming up over the houses over there and through the trees. And it's a beautiful pink color. No clouds up today. Beautiful day. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful day. Listen, I am not a TV lover, but I have become addicted. Yes, I have become addicted to watching all the YouTube channels out there. And I tell you, there are some very good YouTube channels. And I have been watching all of these people out there on YouTube who are creating new lives for themselves. They're out there, they've bought chateaus in France that they've had to fix up because everything was falling apart, but they got them for a cheap price, and now they're working at cleaning them up. And there's another individual who is showing houses that you can buy for $1 in Italy. I've become addicted to these kind of shows. I don't know why, but it's just interesting because, one, I get to travel with them. So when they're traveling through the Italian countryside or the Irish countryside, I'm traveling with them because we can't travel at the moment. So it's my way of doing it. I'm going to tell you if I can find it here on YouTube here. I'm going to look it up here because I watch it almost every day. And I'm addicted to her because the way that she travels and where she goes is someplace that probably you and I would never go. And it's really an interesting situation because as she travels, she makes all these friends as she goes. I'm going to tell you what her name is. Her name is Kylie, Kylie, Flavel, Flavel. And she's from Australia. But she lives in Italy. But she also travels all over the world, meeting different people and talking to different people. And she had a series. It was a 5-part series on her travel to Iran. And it was interesting to me because, and I've never thought this way because I've always thought, I think the Iranian people are very good people and I love them, but the governments are bad. And our government portrays them as bad, and every other government portrays them as bad because there are bad things happening within that government to other people. But the people themselves do not reflect their government, just like you and I. We don't reflect our government views. We don't believe in a lot of these things that the government is pushing. We don't. Well, neither do the Iranian people over there. But it's such an interesting thing because she goes to these places where I don't know if you and I have the guts to go to. But let me tell you what impressed me about the show that I watched last night, because I was watching the 5-part series. And she sat down with this one Iranian lady. And this lady, I tell you, I respect a lot. And she was telling her story of how people want to travel into Iran, but they can't because the banks will not accept the money. They're tied of what they can do legally. And so they have come up with other ways to to pay these hotels and pay for meals. And it's a card that is tied to Bitcoin. Bitcoin, I guess, can travel in there, and they're using it over in Iran to live with, to conduct business with. Now, let me tell you right now, I don't like Bitcoin. I think it's a fake economy, and I don't like it, okay? So that's my personal view. But they're using it there because they want to survive. And when people come into their country, they are just so pleased that they've come. They're happy. They will spend hours with you. They will take you out, and they will show you what these little villages and their lives are all about. But this girl is the one that created that financial system for businesses to use. And the question to her was, do you find that being a woman in Iran creates a problem for you? And her response was, and I'm going to post it later on social media. Her response inspired me because it can apply to each and every single one of us too, as we look at our government and them trying to shut us down, trying to stop us, trying to just be idiots. But she said this, and it really stuck in my mind. I have it on my phone. I've been watching it last night, and I was watching it this morning on my phone. And I have it in bright red, so it reminds me all day long of what it said. So she said, sometimes there are things in our way, but that doesn't mean we can't do anything. Sometimes there are things in our way, but that doesn't mean we can't do anything. And I think that is a view that each and every single one of us should adopt. As we're running our businesses, yeah, there's people standing in our way, but we can do something. We may have to be creative at doing it, but we can do something. Churches may be shut down, and the pastors are not responding to our spiritual needs, but that doesn't mean we can't do something. There may be people in government in Congress who are trying to make it hard for small business to survive, but that doesn't mean we can't do something. We can do anything. A no does not mean to stop. A no means keep moving forward. So I was listening to this Iranian lady. She really had guts. She had a good attitude. Even though she wasn't as free as she wanted to be, that didn't mean that she couldn't do anything. Just because people were telling her that you had to wear this headdress does not stop her from doing anything. Just because she doesn't have the same rights as men doesn't mean that she can't do anything. And I look at her lead. I look at her thought process of how she approaches her daily life. She can do anything and nothing's going to stop her. And that's a tough life over there. Remember, they have had sanctions for years after year after year, and their money flows very slowly, and they can hardly get it, and the food supplies are low, but that doesn't mean they can't do anything. Kind of kicks me in the butt, right? Doesn't that kick you in the butt to get up there and do something, to do anything that you want to do? Forget about all this, these naysayers and all these stupid people. If you want to invest in the stock market, invest in it. Don't let hedge funds try to stop you. If you want to start a business, start a business. Don't let all of this stupidity around you with government allow you to stop. If you want to open a church, open a church. Don't allow other pastors and stuff to say, no. don't even listen to no. Just do it. If you want to feed the homeless, feed them. You can do anything. Just because people are out there trying to stop you from doing something, you can still do anything you want to. If you want to ride along with a police officer and see what type of a job he's doing, you can do it. If you want to have a good relationship between your community and the police department, you can do it. If you want to improve the reading skills of students in your school district, you can do it. If you want to send your kids back to school, you can do it, but you got to fight for it. So don't believe that nothing can be done, because so much can be done. If that lady in Iran can do and start a business in the worst economy in the world, what's going to stop us? We can do anything. This morning, I thought, okay, what am I going to talk about to these people today about business? Because this is a business podcast. If you haven't noticed, it is a business podcast. And I do talk about business from time to time. The problem is there's been so much political nonsense going on that I felt I had to talk a little bit about politics. But this is a business podcast, and so I thought, do I go back and talk about everything that happened in the markets and everything that in the store closings of grocery stores in California because cities are mandating that they pay a crisis pay? Or do I talk about it? Anyway, we're not going to go through that because there's a whole bunch of lists. I'm not going to go through that list. And last night when that lady said that on that YouTube channel, I thought, you know what? I'm going to write this down, and this is going to be my message today. It's so important because we have been hit hard. Over the last year by government, you and I, we have been hit hard. If we own a small business, we've been hit hard. If we're a family, we've been hit hard. If we've lost our job because of this COVID political stuff, we have been hit hard. But that doesn't mean we can't do anything. We're not going to let this stop us. We're not going to let these government people put us down or try to destroy us. We're not going to let them do that. Sometimes there are things in our way, but that doesn't mean we can't do anything. Because we can. We may have to bend it a little bit to get around that nothing that's trying to stop us. But we can still do anything. We can still do something. We still have another way of doing it. We should never give up. We should never sit here and say, oh, I don't know what to do because everybody is against me. Forget about that. Forget about it. Because we can do anything. We can do something. If that lady in Iran who has trouble putting food on her table, who has trouble doing business because of the sanctions from all these countries against her, if she can do something, even though she has all of these things, even being a woman in Iran, and if she believes that she can do something, if she can do anything, then I tell you, if we don't believe that way as Americans, then we've lost it. We have lost the spirit of entrepreneur, being a small business person, being a leader in our community. We've lost it. We've lost the vision of what this country has always stood for. And that's why so many people try to get to this country, because they see an opportunity, because they can do something. They can do anything in this nation. So I tell you, I'm thankful for YouTube. I think I watch it almost every night. Right before I go to sleep, I spend about an hour just watching the YouTube channel. And then on the weekends, I spend a little bit more. But with YouTube, I can travel. I can be in London. I can be in France. I can be in Iran. I can be in Turkey. I can be all over the world through other people's travel, because right now we're kind of stuck here. But then I thought about that and I said, you know what? I bet you I could travel. So what I did is I said, you know what I've always wanted to do is do the train ride from Washington, D.C. to California. It's called the Zephyr, California Zephyr. And you go through the back ways of this nation, up in the mountains, in the snow, along the rivers, along the streams, along the little towns of America. So that's my goal. In March is my birthday. So I'm planning that. And I'll film it and I'll do my podcast right from the train. But that's my travel plan for this year. That's my bucket list for this year. And I also want to go over to Italy because I've been missing Italy for quite a while. I think Italy and France, but Italy the most, is probably one of my favorite countries. And I want to go back. I feel a longing to go back. So I'm looking at ways, because I know I can do anything, I can do something to get myself there. I will get there somehow. Remember what the lady said as she sat there on the chair talking to an Australian. That even though things might get in her way, but that doesn't mean that we can't do anything. Listen, this is Mike Lodge. If you have a comment, if you have a business question that you would like answered, send me a text at 818-252-5682. Again, that's 818-252-5682. Or you can send me a long question or comment if you want to info, I-N-F-O, at lodge, LODGE-CO.com. And I'll answer them all, I promise you. If you want to help this podcast, support me, go to www.buymeacoffee.com/Michael Lodge. Lodge, by the way. If you want to know what I do on my day job, go to www.lodge, LODGE-CO.com, and you'll see what I do there. So I'm just about ready to get up, take my coffee cup, and get to doing anything that's in my heart. Today we're going to go out and do things. By the way, I have another quote for you. I want to leave this with you. And it goes like this. Today, you and I, we're going to do these things. Good thoughts, good words, good deeds. That's what we're going to focus on today. Talk with you soon. This is Mike Lodge. Have a great day. Bye-bye. This podcast is produced by Michael Lodge, fully focused on